In a busy metropolis, there lived a man named Steve. He had a high-paying job, a lavish apartment, and all the material possessions he desired. Despite all his wealth, Steve felt a deep sense of discontentment and a lack of purpose in his life. One day, he was walking through the park when he saw a group of people engaged in a lively discussion. As he approached, he heard them discussing spirituality, meditation, and the meaning of life. Intrigued, Steve joined the conversation and found himself deeply engaged. Steve felt a stirring in his heart that he could not explain. He began to read books on spirituality and philosophy, attending talks and discussions and seeking the company of wise people. Gradually, he felt the call to embark on a journey of self-discovery and spirituality. One day, as he was contemplating in the park, he had a vision of a wise old sage who told him that he needed to leave the city and go on a journey to find his true purpose in life. Steve was hesitant at first. He had a successful career and a comfortable life in the city, but the call was too strong to ignore. Steve resigned from his job and decided to set out on a journey to seek the truth. He packed his bag with essentials and started traveling with an open heart and an eagerness to discover his inner self. Part 2: The Journey Within. Steve traveled through the mountains and valleys, visiting different places and meeting people from different walks of life. He learned from sages, teachers, and monks who taught him the art of meditation, the philosophy of life, and the ways of the world. He often encountered challenges and obstacles on his journey, but he never gave up. He would sit quietly, contemplate, and find a way to overcome the hurdles. His journey was not just a physical one, but an inward one too. He began to understand his own self, his strengths and weaknesses, and the areas where he needed to work upon. One day, while wandering in a forest, he met an old hermit who was sitting under a tree. The hermit had a peaceful demeanor, and Steve felt an instant connection with him. The hermit welcomed Steve and offered him some water to drink. As they sat together, the hermit asked Steve about his journey. Steve shared his experiences, his insights, and his quest for truth. The hermit listened patiently, and then he said, "The journey to find oneself is the most important journey of all. It's not just about traveling to different places or meeting different people. It's about looking within and discovering the treasures that lie inside." Steve was moved by the hermit's words. He realized that he had been searching for something outside of himself when the answers had been within him all along. The hermit then shared some spiritual practices and techniques that would help Steve dive deeper into his own self. Steve continued his journey with a renewed sense of purpose and determination. He meditated, practiced self-reflection, and started to develop a deeper sense of understanding of his own self. He understood that the answers to his questions lay within himself, and he felt a sense of contentment that he had never felt before. Years later, Steve returned to the city and became a spiritual teacher, guiding others on their own journeys of self-discovery. He knew that the journey within was the most important journey of all, and that true happiness and fulfillment could only be found by looking within oneself. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you have learned a good lesson from my story. If you like to watch more videos like this, please subscribe to my YouTube channel.